Ladies and gentlemen, we continue the action in the light middleweight division. 6 rounds of boxing. Introducing to you firstly, fighting out of the red corner, wearing the black trunks trimmed with white. Weighing in at 11 stone, 8 pounds, 12 ounces. Bringing a 14 fight record, 7 wins, 5 inside the scheduled distance, 5 losses and 2 draws. He is the reigning Central Area welterweight champion. Please welcome from Barnsley, Rob Burton. And across the ring, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing the blue trunks trimmed with the yellow and red, weighing in at 11 stone, 7 3/4 pounds and a 37 fight record. He has 26 wins, 6 inside the scheduled distance, 8 losses, 3 draws. Coming to the ring as the former undefeated Commonwealth light middleweight champion. Ladies and gentlemen, from Hamilton, please welcome Scott Dixon. Time to give the bell is Ricky Gilmore. Referee in charge of the action is Mr. Al Hutchins. This is 6 3-minute rounds.
Let's have a good clean contest. Keep your punches up and watch your heads inside. Knock your opponent down. I want you to go to the furthest neutral corner. And my last instruction, boys, is to protect yourselves at all times. Now shake hands with the best man, man. Good luck, boys.
So is this a last hurrah season for the former British welterweight champion Scott Dixon? Or at 27, can the tall, amiable Scott dig in and regroup towards title contention? Only 1 win in the last 5. Desperate for the spoils here against Barnsley's game Rob Burton, who is a southpaw. And Spencer, we've seen Dixon suffer from southpaws before.
Yeah, we have, and Dixon badly needs a win here. We've seen Dixon in a number of good contests over the years, and it's amazing that he's still only 27 years of age.
Seems to have been around forever. Scott Dixon, spells in London with the Peacock Gym, back up here. Always good to watch, but how much has he got left? Burton's won 7 of 14, is decent at his own level, but if Dixon wants another crack at a British title, he's got to be dealing with Burton here and dealing with him well.
Step back.
Good left hand from Burton. He does hold the Central Area welterweight title, this up at light middleweight, so the natural advantages you would feel, certainly in size and reach, to Dixon.
Yeah, Dixon boxing well on the outside here, using the jab very well. Burton getting through with a good left hand of his own there, though.
Jim. One of his best wins in recent times, Scott Dixon, was a shock stoppage victory over Jamie Moore, who's really come through this year as our British and Commonwealth 11-stone champion. Dixon wants the rematch, but he messed that up a couple of fights ago when he lost to the port sider Marcus Portman. Can Burton install more pain for Dixon? A loss here really would mark the end.
Yeah, a loss here would spell the end for Dixon. Got a good win only a fortnight ago against Howard Clark, which was what he desperately needed, and now he just needs to continue now on that winning ladder and working well in this first round, working well on the outside. Dixon.
Jabs and uppercuts he's looking for as well. Burton plodding forward. It's Dixon's first round on the jab, boxing skills and movement on the outside. Benny King to the left there, and John McDermott with Scott Dixon, who's had his grandfather Toby in the corner for most of his career, the fitness fanatic. Called himself Superman for a while, which is, I think, why we've got the blue, red and yellow shorts. He's a character, isn't he?
He certainly is, and that's from where he won that Commonwealth title and put in some good performances, but just slipped over the last year or so. Some of the good work from Dixon here, letting that right hand go, the best shot to throw against the southpaw, working well with that shot and also working well behind the jab as well in that round, Dixon. So good opening round.
Here's the second. We're in the 11-stone light middleweight division. It's the 27-year-old from Hamilton up here in Scotland in fight number 38, Scott Dixon. Rob Burton, the opponent from Barnsley, 5 years older, turned pro late, only 2.5 years ago. Has been stopped before by David Walker and the now retired John Boy Humphrey. And Dixon will be hoping to do that again to him.
Nice work from Burton there, just letting go of the body shots. Letting the left-hander go as well. Again, getting through with the left hand. Dixon needs to keep those hands up, needs to move that waist.
Seemed to have more success, Scott Dixon, down at 10 stone 7. Not a big puncher. That's been a problem. Also, a slight weakness to the body over the years too. He was taken out by Takaloo in a round. But he is game and he's got such a big heart. He rallied from the brink of defeat to beat Jamie Moore, and he gave Derek Roach a really, really hard 12-rounder in Coventry a few years ago. 5 knockdowns, and we saw Roach the next day. Both eyes were closed. Very, very big heart, Scott Dixon.
Dixon just letting go of the single shots here. Needs to let him go in clusters. As you said, Adam, he's not a big puncher. Single shots won't suit Dixon. Much better when he puts those shots together.
Body shot from Burton, who has stopped 5, but the classier work in bursts from Scott Dixon. Really wants this. He's digging in. He knows his whole boxing future really rides upon getting the victory here. Because 1 win in 6, who'd want him, Spencer?
Exactly. And he knows that, Adam. And you can see that here, really putting in a big effort, Dixon. Changing tactics in this round, trying to stand and trade with Burton. Burton getting his own success in this round.
It's a good match. Scott Dixon just touches his nose. But if there's a problem with that, slightly bloodied, difficulty breathing maybe, keep your eye on it. That's a good right hand though. And Burton took that pretty flush. Cluster of punches, combinations from Scott Dixon. Look how fired up he is for this one. Well, I think Scott Dixon has had a look at the tapes of some of his recent work and thought, I've really got to move up in gears if I'm going to have a part to play in this sport.
Well, that's exactly it, Adam, and that's what he done there at the end of that second round. Let go of a cluster of punches, all started from that big right hand there. Sensed he hurt Rob Burton and just went in for the kill. And a good finish to the round there, just showing that he still really wants it. Scott Dixon, tremendous finish to the round. We see him opening up with the shots. But Burton's taking a step back, another good right hand again there. And unfortunately for Dixon, the bell went. Very fortunate for Rob Burton.
Okay.
Well, the 6-foot-tall, heavily tattooed Scott Dixon is boxing better than we've seen him in recent fights. Tackling Rob Burton, who was a late notice opponent. It's a little fleshy around the middle, maybe not quite fit, but certainly has the courage and strength, as we saw in a central area title fight with Peter Dunn. A bit of a crowd pleaser and not afraid to take a couple, to land a few.
Yeah, Burton again trying to come forward here. But Dixon doing everything right, letting those shots go, moving on the outside. Good clubbing right hand again there from Dixon. Burton taking these shots well.
Accuracy has been better from Scott Dixon tonight. In front of his home fans, trying to wield in those body shots. Just a slight blemish underneath the right eye. He's quite used to that, isn't he? He's had a few bumps and bruises along the way.
He has had a few lumps and bumps along the way. Been in some tough fights, Scott Dixon. But always a good crowd pleaser and a tremendous heart as well.
Throwing his weight behind the shots and pushing Rob Burton back. It's a decent looking hook come uppercut on the inside. He's trying everything, isn't he? But how tough is this Burton?
Yeah, good performance here by Scott Dixon, doing everything right at the moment, really driving those body shots in, switching the attacks upstairs. Burton at the moment doesn't know where the next shot's coming from. Good variety here from Scott Dixon.
Won his Commonwealth title against Sean Sullivan from New Zealand, defended against Charlie Kane. It's a right hand there. Again, just bounces off Burton. He's actually coming off a win, Rob Burton, over David Keir, who he stopped in Barnsley in May in 9. Just can't fathom out the jab and movement of Dixon, which is winning in this fight.
Yes, the variety of work from Dixon is switching, leading off with different shots all the time. Burton struggling to find where the next shot's coming from, and another good round there from Scott Dixon.
There is Scott Dixon's record. 37 fights, still only 27. He's been a pro for 8 years.
Some of the good work in the round from Dixon. Letting go of a lovely left hook to the body there. Burton taking that well from another angle, right under the elbows. Really thinking about what he's doing in there at the moment. Dixon picking his shots so well, mixing them up to head and body. And this is a good performance so far.
Well, as you can see there, the head, body shots, double the amount landed for Dixon. Second half, we're in the light middleweight division. Remember the yellow, blue and red of Super Scott Dixon. And the black of Barnsley's Rob Burton, who's got a fight lined up in a few weeks, so needs to survive this one. Can he? It's all Dixon so far. The question, Spencer, has he really got the power, Dixon, at light middleweight?
He's never really been a big puncher anyway, Dixon. He's got good boxing skills. Nice rangy boxer, and when he uses those to his advantage, boxes much better, Dixon. I like it when he boxes behind that jab, picks those combinations off.
Occasionally goes through flat periods in his career, Scott Dixon. He was stopped by Steve Roberts and Anthony Farnell as well at light middleweight. When he gets himself into shape, he does huge amounts of press-ups and sit-ups and gym work. Personal trainer as well outside the ring.
He's got to stick to what he's doing in there at the moment. Dixon can't afford to get careless.
What is for certain is that he's boxing a great deal better against this southpaw opponent than he did against West Brom's Marcus Portland in a horrible night for Dixon in Liverpool, where he ran out of the ring at the end sickened. It looked over then.
Yeah, that was a terrible performance, and then you had to ask yourself the question, had he come to the end of the road? At only 27, you wouldn't have thought so, but he has been around a long time, pro for 8 years, but showing that he's still got something to offer here.
More blood from his nose. We thought that was a problem a couple of rounds ago. And a draw with the much improved Darren Rhodes, which was a good fight. And as Spencer said earlier, had that key win over Howard Clark on a dinner show up here a couple of weeks back. Looks in good nick and needs to be.
And again, Dixon just boxing, sticking to his tactics here, boxing well on the outside, switching those attacks, and Burton really clueless what to do in there at the moment.
Burton just marauding forward in a pretty basic manner. He's giving Dixon rounds, but the Scot is winning them. No question about that. 32 years of age, trained by Trevor Schofield, who's also his manager. See, he's won a fair few by knockout, lost 5, unbeaten in his first 7 with a couple of draws, but only turned pro in his late 20s, so probably a bit too late. But at his level, fairly good.
Yeah, not bad at all, and giving Dixon a good workout here. But there we see some of the excellent work from Dixon. And then working well behind that jab. That really has been the key weapon for him so far in this contest.
Look at that. Battle of the jabs. 8 times as many for Dixon. Last 6 minutes of this 6-rounder at light middleweight. The black trunks of the southpaw Rob Burton, who's got everything to do here. But it looks as though he's heading for a points defeat. Decent performance from Scott Dixon, who wants to be part of the shake-up in the British division. Do you think he's worthy of that rematch with Jamie Moore?
Well, it'd be good to see. It'd be good to see how much Jamie Moore's come on, if he's come on, or how much Scott Dixon's gone back. But as you rightly said, is he worthy of it? Needs a couple more wins. Dixon, he needs that real rebuilding process.
Jamie Moore, who won the title outboxing the boxer in Michael Jones, and then blowing away ruthlessly Gary Logan at the MEN in Manchester last month. That was a really fabulous performance from Moore, who could be a little bit of a star in the making. Just a little less from Dixon. Jab not quite having the impact or power that it had in the first 2 or 3 rounds.
Yeah, we just see him taking a deep breath there as he stepped back, Scott Dixon.
Still, this Rob Burton comes forward, throwing leather. Game, brave, at just a couple of days' notice. And he's taken some punishment tonight.
This is where Dixon needs to relax. He's loading up with those single shots as he gets inside. Needs to relax and do what he was doing in the earlier rounds, letting those combinations go.
Cut under the left eye for Burton. Not in a bad place, really. Just trying to force Dixon back. It's crude at times what Burton does, but he's performed admirably once again. Not quite the same snap in Dixon's work. Just a little low there with the right hand. Both tired now. There's the cut. Just under the left eye for Rob Burton.
Yeah, Burton getting a little more success in that round, but really Dixon the one getting through with a good right hand. That's where the cut seemed to happen. From another angle, we see it there. Good right hand going in. Burton felt the force of that shot, and we see the cut open up under the eye. There we see the cut opening up. And another good round for Dixon. Burton was getting closer himself. Started to get off of a few right hands of his own and left hooks.
A wry smile from Scott Dixon, who's seen it all before. He really has. But he's boxed okay, well in patches tonight against Rob Burton. And maybe with another win, he could force himself into position for a challenge at Jamie Moore's British and Commonwealth titles.
Yeah, you can see the confidence coming back in Scott Dixon. Good win only a couple of weeks ago, and looks like he's on the verge of getting another win here. Good tactics from him, boxing well on the outside, working well behind that jab. Good array of shots to head and body. Overall, a good boxing performance here from Scott Dixon.
You've given him everything, haven't you?
Yeah, I've got him winning every round so far. That's to take nothing away from Rob Burton, who really has played his part in a good contest here. But Dixon just the sharper of the two. Excellent variety of punches, and just one move ahead of Burton here this evening.
Dixon was slated to fight Eugenio Monteiro, the man from Portugal, a colourful character based in Manchester. But Burton's come in, and he's come in fighting. He's done what he knows, which is not, we think, going to be good enough to derail Dixon tonight. But he can go back to Barnsley with his head held very high. He's never really made a dent in Dixon, has he?
No, he's just been plugging away all the time, steadily just coming forwards. Boxing one pace though, Rob Burton. He needs to go through the gears. But Dixon's the one doing that. Dixon's the one that's mixing it up, letting the shots go in clusters, and then going back down, working behind the jab. Really, Rob Burton hasn't been able to work Dixon out here this evening.
The long, interesting career of Scott Dixon looks as though it may have a chapter or two left in it. Look at this finish as well from Dixon, really piling on the pressure and the punches. He's a fighting man through and through, Scott Dixon.
Yeah, this is a good performance here in the 6th round. For the first time seeing him relax, letting those combinations go.
Slightly marked up, nose bleeding, taken a few that maybe in his heyday wouldn't have done. But he's the sort of boxer that's done very well, Scott Dixon, at what he's got. He's made the best of himself.
Yeah, he has. Really was on the top of the ladder a couple of years ago. People have written him off recently, but showing here he's still got a lot to offer. And boxing well against Rob Burton.
Scott Dixon gives Rob Burton a hug. He gets his 2nd victory in a row. That's crucial. That's what he needed to do. He got the rounds in. He won it comfortably. and he looked as though he may just have the chance of the championship fight again. Rob Burton smiles to us at ringside. He's pleased to have got through the 18 minutes and deservedly goes back with just a points defeat.
Yeah, put up a good performance there, Rob Burton. Just couldn't work Scott Dixon out here this evening. Dixon boxing well at long range. Burton couldn't get inside that jab, couldn't get past the right hand. Dixon in complete control, but Rob Burton playing his part in a good contest.
Excellent matchup. Scott Dixon moves on again.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 6 rounds of boxing, referee Al Hutchin has scored this contest for Burton 54 points, for Dixon 60 points. Your winner from Hamilton, Scott Dixon. Let's show our appreciation to very durable Rob Burton.
Well done, big Scott.
Scott, a much more confident performance from you tonight. You must be gaining momentum now in your comeback.
Yeah, I'm definitely on my way back. As I say, I had 15 months off and it done me no good at all when I came back. I lost my first one, drew my second, and I've won my last 2, which means I'm back on form. Although I'm still only about 70% there just now, definitely.
And boxing neatly on the back foot, I mean, that's your strength now, isn't it?
Well, that's the way I box. What's the point of changing it, you know? In the past, I tended to get dragged into fights, and that's not Scott Dixon at all. Scott Dixon's a craftsman.
And you look strong at the end, so clearly the hunger, the desire and the conditions all still there.
Still there, I've got a lot to prove yet. A great deal. People think I've been a pro for such a long time. Fair enough, I have. But it's what I do now that counts. What happened in the past don't count, it's what I do now.
I know you want the rematch with Jamie Moore. Are you any closer, do you think, to securing that? How much do you have to go to secure that?
I definitely think I'm not far away now. Definitely. Jamie, I fought Jamie before. He was on the way up then, I beat him, but I can beat him again, I know that for sure.
Well done tonight.
Thank you very much, God bless.
Well done.